This is Virginia City, and this was the principal city in Nevada for years and years. It was the first state capital, and this was mostly silver rather than gold. Silver was discovered here, I think, in the late 1840s, early 1850s, and it was at one time the richest town in America. They took many millions of dollars worth of silver out of the mines here. This whole area under here is completely honeycombed with mines, and it's been the mines basically played out around 1900. So this town has just kind of held on since the turn of the last century, and it existed mostly on tourism, frankly. And as you can see, it's become a real tourist trap.
But the buildings look
Buildings
like
are all original.
Original.
Yeah.
This
is not a theme park. This is an actual town the way it was. This is the main street. You see that sign up there. It says the Mark Twain Museum. Mark Twain, or Samuel Clemens, was here in the 1850s. He was actually a editor of the newspaper here.
Who Mark Twain was?
Yeah. He was here for a good bit, and then he was also in the gold fields of California.
Okay.
In 1849. Of course, the reason it's the 49ers, the football team in San Francisco 49ers, 1849 was the big discovery of gold at Sutter's Mill in California. And that was a huge discovery which ran for 15 or 20 years before it played out, and even some ran longer than that. You can see Boot Hill. You can just barely see some of the gravestones on that far hill.
Oh yeah. And tell me, Bob, you could imagine even in the cowboy movies, the guys on the balconies,
yes,
jumping out the window.
Yes. That's right. And also, you'll notice that some of the buildings are in pretty sad shape. Of course, these are getting close to 170 years old now, many of them. And they're all, of course, wooden construction. Falling down over here.
Yeah.
And on that far hill is the graveyard. The largest Catholic cathedral in Nevada is still here, still in use. It's up this way a bit, and we'll get a chance to see it before we leave.
Back down the town here, there's the remains of an old mine shaft, I think.
Well, this whole area under here is honeycombed with shafts. In fact, it's been long enough now that some of the timbers are starting to get rotten, even though there's not much moisture. And when those timbers finally give out, you're going to get huge subsidence when these mine shafts collapse. Because one of the technological advances that made this mining of this area so profitable was called the honeycomb method of shoring up mines. It used to be that they would put vertical timbers and then cross hatches, right? Well, the problem with that is you're limited to the length of a tree to provide support to the roof. Well, a guy by the name of Sutro invented a method of honeycomb where you build a square of timber, and then you build a square on top of that, and then you build a square on top of that. That meant you can actually mine several stories high and still support the top of the mine shaft. But you've got galleries of 4, 5, 6 stories that are supported by this honeycomb of wooden timbers. And of course, ultimately, those are going to collapse, and that's a huge area.
And they're all underneath the street.
All underneath here, and so you will often get holes. You know, I mean, they didn't like modern foundations 175 years ago.